Hello and welcome back to Red Room. Yet again there's been a little bit more time has passed since the last video than I wanted, but what was supposed to be a fun and simple exploration of non-metallic metal turned out to be a bit more involved than I thought. So I've spent a lot of time agonising over this particular little model that I thought would be done in a couple of afternoons, which should tell you something. But it's been worthwhile. We've learnt a lot. That is the mantra for this project. It's been a nightmare, but we have learnt a lot, and we will certainly be taking that on to other projects. We will be practicing this a lot as well, because that's clearly what we need. Practice, practice, practice. Don't think I picked the best model, really. There could have been easier ones, but hey, I pushed myself, and that is the point. And I think that, yeah, it's been a worthwhile enterprise. So I hope you enjoy the video. Please like, share and subscribe, because this channel is only tiny and it would be nice to see it, you know, get the recognition that I think it deserves. Anyhow, have a good one, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers. Hello, and this is going to be our project. So, on a much smaller scale this time round, we're going to be doing this lovely Eldar Spirit Seer, and I intend to finally get on and actually do some non-metallic metal. This will be my first attempt, so this will be, yeah, an interesting voyage of discovery. And we're going to paint him in an Latok Craft World style, so he's going to be mostly blue with yellow for the helmet and other accents, which I haven't quite decided just yet. And yeah, we're going to undercoat him now. I think we're going to try and do a sort of modified zenithal highlight technique here, which will involve two types of blue, but I'm not sure exactly how this is going to come out. We're just going to see, we're just going to wing this. We're going to, yeah, undercoat him with a darker blue and then overcoat with a lighter, and we'll see how that goes. So I'll get back to you when that's all mixed up. Whee! We are using Vallejo's Royal Blue for this. And we currently have our Spirit Seer stuck on an interdental brush that I'd normally use to clean this airbrush out with. But yeah, this airbrush was absolutely filthy, so that was make sure you clean your airbrush out thoroughly, especially when you're using varnish, because oh my goodness, that was clogged. That was not good. So we're going to cover the whole of this with Royal Blue. We're now moving up to Techless Blue to do our highlight. This may not work, this may not be successful, I am not too sure. I'm now thinking about using some Talisar Blue or some Leviathan Blue as well to create a contrast effect, but I don't know. So this is all a bit of a voyage of discovery. So we're going to highlight this from the top. Okay, we will leave that now and we'll have a look at that when it's dried. With our blue zenithal highlighting done, this is what he's looking like. So yeah, royal blue undercoat with the Techless blue overcoat, in case I didn't actually record any of that spraying very well. Now we're going to move on to spraying his base. We've used epoxy sculpt for this, and we just made it look like a nice sort of bit of paved Eldar ruins, largely inspired by the little bit he's resting on right now. So we're going to undercoat this. I think we're going to go for a sort of a ushabti bone kind of, mainly because he's mostly blue, so we want something in the yellow sphere, I think, to counteract. We might go with an ochre undercoat perhaps. We're going to use ochre brown from Vallejo. This is very, very thick stuff, so make sure this is thinned enough. With 2 coats, that's what it's looking like. So we are now going to use ushabti bone to go over the top of it and make it a little less dark. While the base dries, we will very quickly paint this little bit here. Before we stop being intimidated and actually get on with doing this model. And that will require at least another base coat, but that's no problem. So we got to get on and do this blue armour, which I'm super nervous about doing, but we've got to do it. We've got to actually just make some sort of attempt at beginning, and then we'll see where we go from there. So we're going to use Techless blue. And some straight up white. That's Techless blue from Citadel, and the white can be from wherever you want it to be from. Though Citadel don't seem to be able to make particularly good whites, so be careful. I'm thinking about incorporating contrast paints into this as well, so that will help smooth out any colour gradients, hopefully. So we're just using straight up techless blue to do these highlights here. And then we're going to go up a little bit lighter and just do some finer highlights. As we very much don't know what we're doing here, we're just going to pause here and try a little experiment. With the contrast paint and see what we get out of it. Now the question is, which contrast paint to use? Do we use Talosar blue or do we use Leviathan blue? Well, I think Leviathan blue is going to give us, you know, all the contrast that we're after, but will it be too much? But equally, will the Talosar blue not really do it for us? So we're going to try very, very, very carefully with the Leviathan blue. Give that more of a shake. I think this one is going to be a very useful colour from doing space walls with as well. We're going to thin it down. In case of mishaps. Right, let's see what happens now. Okay. I want that a little bit thicker. Okay, yeah. We're just putting neat Leviathan blue into the recesses. At this stage I'm not sure if I haven't screwed up, but sometimes you've got to trust the process. We will leave that to dry and we will see what we think. Okie dokie, so this is what it now looks like. I've done some more highlighting just using white and Techless blue. Definitely struggling, ladies and gentlemen, definitely struggling here a little bit. I'm out of my depth, I'm out of my comfort zone, but that's not necessarily a bad thing ultimately. So I'm going to try and put some royal blue in, some more shading. And I'm going to paint over this again because I'm not happy with this at all. Yeah, that's an interesting thing. Maybe I should have sprayed it all with contrast paint to start with. I don't know. As I say, we are really into winging it territory here on Red Room. But this is the point. No good hiding away in your comfort zone. Just doing the models that you're comfortable doing because you don't learn anything, so you wait till we get to the non-metallic metal bit because that's going to be stressful. I'm just doing a little tiny glaze using the violet blue as well, might work out well here. I just highlight that with some Techless blue and do the rest with a bit more of a lighter kind of feel. Making it up as we go along in Red Room. So I wonder now if we put Talisar blue into this mixture, what will happen? It's definitely a darker blue than what we put on, but not by much. But I do know this is potent stuff, so from the Saneshi build. Just going to try this on the armour here and see what we think. Okay, we'll let that dry and we'll think about what we're doing next. So yeah, that's what he looks like now. All stuck on his base. And we're going to now just colour in all of the black bits to make my life easier because it's all looking just a bit too blue and undefined and it's stressing me out a bit, so I am now going to try to bring some definition to this guy. And change my wet palette. Why would I do that? So for now we're going to just do this visor in black. We will think about how we're going to do this in a second. With a lot of toing and froing and messing around and highlighting things and generally not being entirely sure what we're doing, I think what we're now going to attempt is to put some Talsar blue contrast paint on this skirty bit that he's got here, and yeah, try and make those highlights a little bit more subtle, because I'm not really hugely happy with them. This could be a disaster, I don't know. As I say, we are into major winging it territory here. Oh, and my wet palette's far too wet. Right, let's thin this down with some contrast paint, or contrast medium rather. And yeah, oh, big announcements on the old Warhammer 40k stage. Very glad I haven't learned how to play the game since 3rd edition, because now there's a 10th edition. My goodness, we'll get around to it one day, I'm sure. But painting is still the focus. What we may do is try and run this into some Vidon blue to give it the full sort of effect, but I can say a lot of things right now. I haven't got a clue on it. So having applied the Talsar blue, this is what we've got, and yeah, I'm happy. I think that's helped bring those highlights into line a bit better. So we are now going to look at doing his, I guess you'd call it overcoat. We're going to use some glacier blue. So I want this to be very, you know, a very, very, very light, almost, yeah, an off-white, a blue off-white. So we've got him looking like this now. This is a classic example of when you jump into something and don't actually realise quite how far you're going to end up going. So I didn't quite realise that, yeah, his entire chest piece, the whole thing, is actually the overcoat. So yeah, he's going to be a lot more white than I thought he was going to be, but that's fine. It's fine. I think it will still work out really well. So anyway, we're going to now do the yellow bits, his helmet, and these sashes and everything. So we're going to use Avalanche Sunset. After 2 coats of the Avalanche Sunset, this is what we've got. I think that's a perfectly good bit of coverage. I think people overstate the difficulty of painting yellow, to be honest. Certainly nowadays, these base paints, that, you know, they're so pigment rich, you can cover dark surfaces pretty easily with them, you know, as long as you're willing to do 2 coats. Certainly that's a perfectly acceptable base, I think. Now we're just going to try and put a very, very thin coat of Talsar blue over this cloak. We just want there to be just the littlest hint of blue around the edges. This may not go well, we'll see. I have been just trying it out very lightly on this chest piece. As I say, I hadn't really figured with, or reckoned with, how this colour scheme was going to work out, so this stuff is very potent as well, very, very potent. So I wouldn't have bothered painting this black if I'd have known that I needed to do all this first. Never mind. We're winging it. This is the winging it special. We will let that dry, see what we think. But I think that should be an acceptable level of blue. Now that's dried, we are looking at this. Yeah, happy enough. It's not been too overpowering. Might be a little bit much there, but we can deal with that. That's no problems. So I'm just going to be painting back on some more of the Glacier Blue. I'm going to use a big brush using number 2 Rosemary & Co one, but we're going to swap to something a lot smaller in a minute. In fact, we're going to be using something smaller anyway. We don't have the control we want for this. Then we're going to use a number 0. I'm just going to glaze into this so it don't lose that nice gradient we've got. So just literally using water to make this very thin. We will continue and do the whole of the model. Here is the overcoat all done. We've reinstated all the black that we should have been a bit more patient about applying. And while we psych ourselves up to start the non-metallic metal off, we will have a look at this yellow here. So we're going to use some Ethereal Yellow. And we're going to apply this to most of all the yellow parts on this helmet, but we're going to leave the recesses darker. So a couple of coats and our yellow is looking like that. Focus, curse you. And in order to give ourselves some definition here, we're going to use some of this Griffound orange, but very heavily watered down. And we're going to just put it into the recesses of everything. Even more heavily watered down than that. Forgive me if that was out of focus. But that's what we are looking at now. We are now going to go over this yellow with more Aerial yellow, and then we're going to highlight it and hopefully bring it into a much lighter colour.
This is the view from Red Room. This is the view from Red Room.
Let's see if this deep yellow from Vallejo is lighter, because that will be helpful if it was. Oh yes, I think it is. Excellent. Oh yes. We shall use this to our advantage.
This is the view from Red Room.
Now we're going to use some sand yellow and see what we get out of this as a highlight. And just doing the ends of these, what would you call them? Traily bits, yes, that's the elegant word, that's the elegant phrase for this.
This is the view from Red Room.
Okay, abrupt sudden jump cut. We are going to leave that there for now, because I think we're going to end up with yet another massively overlong video if we don't. So in the next part we will actually get on to that non-metallic metal we're so very, very worried about doing, and finish the rest of the project. So I will see you then. Bye.